tell me exactly how big a problem there is with my iPhone right now. As I understand it, somebody, if they wanted to, could see all of my taps, swipes, browsing, texts, and emails.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of people have this sort of general idea that these devices are impervious to malware, and it's impossible to take over it. And Apple provides a level of security that you sort of don't have to worry about that. Apple's sort of taking care of that for you, because the prevalence of malware has been so low, and the attacks against the phone, frankly, have been so low compared to the Android platform. People just get that idea that I'm secure, so they might be a little less careful when they're browsing or when they're installing applications because it has that Apple stamp of approval.
So tell me about the flaw. I mean, why
Sure.
is this happening?
Yeah, so the flaw is that it's a vulnerability in the operating system itself that allows people to sort of break out or gain more permissions on your phone than Apple intends them to. So Apple tries to prevent your applications from doing certain things like reading your thumbprint reader or when you actually tap keys or numbers, reading that raw data. And this vulnerability allows the attacker to do that. So imagine an application that can record all the thumbprints on your thumbprint scanner, right? I mean, how big a vulnerability would that be, all the biometric authentication that's going on?
Taken together, this plus the iOS 7 thing last week, plus the OS 10 flaw as well. I mean, this sounds really, really bad. Am I correct?
No, you're correct. The vulnerability surface is huge. I mean, everybody runs iPhones, and everybody, most people aren't running any sort of third-party security applications on even their Macs or their iPhones or their iPads or anything like that because they have this idea that Apple's protecting them.
And you have been working with Apple on this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So how responsive have they been? What are they doing?
I mean, Apple is one of the best in all of enterprise devices in patching things very quickly, and the whole security model of them vetting an application before you're allowed to install it. That model doesn't exist for other vendors. With a PC or with other devices, I can send you something and you can run it, but that doesn't exist on the iPhone. So because they have that whole workflow of security, just naturally they are, frankly, better.
Okay, so this in contrast to Tinder. Apparently, according to you, Eric, you discovered a major security flaw in Tinder, which, as I understand it, would allow bad actors to track down the exact location of someone using the service?
Yes, absolutely. So the flaw that we uncovered essentially allowed you to triangulate somebody's exact location as they use the mobile dating app Tinder. So with that, you could track somebody as they used it and moved around in real time.
So you contacted Tinder about this, and they say that they solved it in 48 hours. You say something different. Walk me through what happened.
Well, I don't know behind the scenes what they did, but from my understanding, that they said that they fixed it shortly after. They didn't give us details on the fix, so we had to check on our own. And on January 1st, when we checked, it appeared patched.
You say this vulnerability existed for 40 to 165 days. I should read Tinder's statement. They say, shortly after being contacted, Tinder implemented specific measures to enhance location security and further obscure location data. Our users' privacy and security continue to be our highest priority. They did say they don't know of any situations in which people actually use this information to try and find someone, but it does go back to this policy. Apple, while they have released very short statements, I saw a headline today that talks about Apple's deafening silence when it comes to what's going on here. Should companies be more upfront about what's happening?
Absolutely, absolutely. And some of there were a number of Web 2.0 breaches with large companies in the Bay Area where Apple had information about the vulnerability and didn't disclose it to these very, very large web properties. And there was a vulnerability window that didn't need to exist. So,
what should companies do? Because they do have to balance, not alerting all the bad actors out there that there's a problem before they fix it, right, Eric?
Yeah. So, there is a balance there of protecting users and informing users as well as waiting for the fix. So prioritizing these fixes and getting them out as fast as possible is, of course, the right way to do things. And then once you fix them, being upfront with your user base and saying, hey, this is what happened and here's how we fixed it.
Have vulnerabilities like this been out there all the time, or is technology moving so fast that security technology can't catch up?
No, these vulnerabilities have always existed, and companies that have been in the press more for vulnerabilities in their software have come up with programs to like you're saying, to proactively contact large security companies, large enterprises like Microsoft and Adobe both have programs where they will give trusted people the information about the vulnerability before it goes out in the wild.
And Apple has historically prided itself on having the best security out there. Did Apple really drop the ball in this case?
Yeah.
Eric's nodding. You're nodding your head.
So this SSL flaw, this is one of the core flaws, one of the worst flaws I've seen, because it just allows all encrypted traffic going to that phone or the operating system. That's a very, very bad flaw.
It's exactly as bad as you would expect. I mean, you wonder how it was discovered. You hope it wasn't actually discovered in the wild by someone getting exploited by this. But it's just a complete circumvention of any of their encryption.
Okay, so when is this going to be safe to use? How long is this going to take?
I expect that they'll release a quick fix for it in days or weeks. They've been
weeks.
Well,
I don't want everybody out there knowing who I'm texting and emailing, or what I'm saying.
Me neither.
Weeks? I mean, will it really take that long to fix?
Oh well, there's a whole QA process that goes into it. I certainly can't.
The fix is very quick. You can do the fix in 5 minutes, but then you have to go through the whole quality assurance process, or else if they push a fix out and your phone crashes when you get that patch, you're not going to be happy.